expenses at the fraternity house. So we get back 45.3% of that, because that's what the educational portion of the building is. A lot of semantics behind all that stuff, and that's a lot of the, I won't call it shell game, but the process we go through. No, it's all above board. And again, we thank you for making those contributions, because they are what help us make this house the livable space that it really is. And when we're competing, if you've been to some of the residence halls now, or if you've been to some of the apartments around town, the competition is really fierce. So we need a world-class facility for world-class students for their world-class education. So again, thank you for all the money you contributed. All the other monies here, you can see we got $4 million in all, $4 million at Farmhouse Foundation. That keeps growing every year. So again, your generous contributions keep those numbers going up. Most of it you can see is for scholarships or for building expansions. So those type of funds that are available not only for our chapter, but also for other chapters when they want to do building expansions. So that's really nice that we've had generous alums to help us out with that. So questions on any of the foundation accounts? And again, thank you for all that you've done. Yes, sir. So, nice segue. Actually, it's not this next segue. 1 million, but we'll cover that again. We're just over $1 million right now for the mortgage, but we'll cover that in a future slide. So here's our cash flow from last year, and this is by month. So last year, at the start of the fiscal year, we started with $197,000. You can see immediately it spikes up in October when the chapter pays rent. We charge the chapter rent. This year it's going to be $222,000 that they pay for rent for this facility. That really finances all the things that we do from the mortgage standpoint, et cetera. So again, the rent is a big one. The other part, the grants, you can see the circles, those are either Farmhouse Foundation grants that we receive for compensation for ongoing expenses, or for the kitchen project from ISU Foundation. So you can see that it spikes up in those spots where we get those additional payments. You can see that when you pay rent, or when you pay for property taxes or pay for insurance, the numbers drop pretty rapidly, but then it builds right back up again. So we finished the year at $120,000 right at the end of the year. You can see there's a gap between what our budget was in the green line and what the finishing number was in the blue line. That was because in the month of August, we had a leak in one of the air conditioners in the pad. And so immediately, Matt did yeoman's work to get a contractor to come in, get that thing fixed up. The men sacrificed beyond their abilities by moving to the basement, setting up all the racks in the basement while we finished the two pads upstairs. We got them done. It was about a month you guys had to cloister in the cave. So eventually we got them back up into their space. If you get a chance to go up there, that new carpet smell is still in there. So really a nice space now for those guys. And again, we sacrificed the time, pleasures, and sleeping space. So that was the cash flow for 2021. Again, the fiscal year ended on September 30th, and we roll into the next fiscal year. Just to show you where we are. So this is the 4 years through the end of fiscal 21, and then the budget for fiscal 22. You can see the ups and downs. It's like a cardiac chart. I think there are a few physicians in here who understand that. But you can see when I started my tenure back in fiscal 18, we started with right around $300,000. We immediately paid the mortgage down. And I'll show you that slide here in a second. But we bounced basically anywhere between $150,000 and $200,000. Your association is in very good shape. We at any time have about $150,000 to do things with. So again, your board has been very, very prudent with your money, but also very conservative with making sure we have enough in case there's any issues. Okay, so that's the cardiac chart. Here's the budget. This is the budget that the board approved at the last meeting. You can look at the budget column for fiscal 11 on the far, or fiscal 21. Fiscal 21 on the far left. What we actually spent for fiscal 21 in the yellow highlighted, and then the budget for fiscal 22 to the next column over. I also project out for 22 and 20 or 23 and 24. You can see where we're projecting going. A couple of highlights to look at. Again, the $15,000 that we got from ISU Foundation in the grant for the kitchen project. again, because we're able to get basically about half of that money back that we spend as a grant, it reduces that cost of that whole project. That shows up as income on the top line. Another one down here, you remember at the last annual meeting we were very fortunate to have received a small business administration loan under the CARES Act that was passed, due to the COVID situation. We tapped into $100,000 of CARES Act money just in case. And your board made a very quick decision to get that accomplished so that we had money in case we didn't open the house. And for those of you that don't remember, we shut the house down basically once, was it March, April of a few years ago? Everyone went home. We shut the house down and we refunded the chapter half of the rent because they weren't going to occupy the space for half of a year. So immediately we're, oh man, what's going to happen? So we were able to tap into those funds. We never used them, so we paid them back. And so that makes our, basically like we spent a lot of money last year that we really didn't spend. It was huge income last year, money we spent. Another thing to notice, real estate taxes. We budgeted for $62,000, we only paid $52,000 in real estate taxes. What happened? We got a tax abatement. We filed for a tax abatement because of the expansion structure, and because this is a zone where the city wants to have improvements, we were able to get tax abatement for 7 years. And so for the next 7 years, we're going to save $82,000 in property tax because of the filing of that particular tax exemption. So that drops our real estate taxes. You can see this year we're budgeting for $47,000 in real estate taxes, whereas we were budgeting for $62,000. So big savings there when it comes to our real estate taxes. One other line item I was going to point out, just the repair and maintenance. You can see that those were basically projects again for the kitchen and for some of the other improvements with regard to that. So again, it looks like minus $72,000 on the year. We're actually just returning to the level we started at for the prior years. So it looks like we lost a lot of money last year, but we by plan basically finished the year at the level we wanted to finish at. So again, we're in good financial position. Questions on the budget? Questions on what we spent last year?
What would be the next expected large improvement in the house?
So we put a committee together during the summer to put together a 5-year plan for all the little projects that we think are going to be the next big projects. And honestly, nothing came up as being a really big project. There was just some really small, bunch of singles. And so we now have our 5-year plan put together, what we're going to spend money on. So things like
rotating out mattresses, flooring.
Right. Yeah, this flooring definitely is on the list of priorities to get this repaired or developed. When we did the expansion, we purposely bought a less durable surface because we wanted to save money on the project. Well, now that we have the money, we can do better flooring. A couple other, the mattresses, I know, are one of the things that we just want to keep that constantly going. Just routine maintenance things, the water softener, we got budgeted money for just maintenance and upkeep. But yeah, no real big projects on the docket, unless of course Dwayne Wolf, he and I are going to walk around and basically look at structural things and put together a bigger plan. So, but yeah, nothing huge. We're in good shape. Yep. Pie chart. This is basically the slide I just showed, but in a pie chart. So where does the money go? Expenses. Half of our money goes to pay the mortgage. So then. That's really all I wanted to show is if you want to see, kind of the big areas, utilities, 50,000 in utilities, taxes, 47,000, insurance, 24,000, that's going to go up. This hurricane season has really hit the insurance industry bad. We're going to get a big whack next year on insurance. So just need to be ready for that. Repairs, we budget for 12,000, but improvements 24,000. And it takes about 12,000 a year to keep this facility repaired. So those are the big categories. So finally, here's the look at what the budget. So this is the budget I just proposed on a cash flow basis. You can see goes up when we get the rent payments, goes down when we pay the big expenses. It gets pretty boring after a while. I know numbers are really exciting for a lot of people, not for me, but it's just, that's what the chart looks like for next year. Okay. So mortgage. The question about the mortgage. So we're $1 million right now on our mortgage. Again, we owe that money to ourselves. And if you want to talk to me later about how that works, we had a very generous alum who donated to the Farmhouse Foundation into a mortgage fund. Well, our mortgage is actually pulling from that fund, and the interest we pay back to that comes back to us for educational purposes. So a portion of the interest from that alum is actually coming back. So once we pay off that $1 million mortgage, that money will always be earmarked toward Iowa State Farmhouse. So the interest that the next chapter pays on that $1 million when, let's say, Missouri decides they want to expand their property, they tap into that money, we get the interest payment out of that. So it's really, really a living legacy that generous alum was able to give to this chapter. So really kind of an amazing thing that our generous alums do for us. So the current balance, you can see where it is. The blue line was when we got the mortgage and we started out. So that's the plane of how fast we'll pay it off if all we paid was the minimum. Well, Dr. Lonergan made the decision when he was treasurer, we're going to immediately start paying down that mortgage at the rate of $10,000 per month. So you see the red line was the new trajectory. And so that accelerated it from a payoff in 41 to a payoff in 34. So all automatically reduced it by 7 years just by paying a few thousand, about $2,000 more every single month on the mortgage. So then right away, you saw in my chart when I became treasurer, we paid off a whole bunch. So it drops down the green line. And you can see that shortened it to an additional few years. So it shortened it by 2 more years to 32. So we're going to pay down $60,000 again this year. That's going to shorten it by 6 more months. So every $10,000 we pay down shortens it by about a month. So what I really would like to do, and I've never told the board this is all in the back of my head, would be in 2027, when we celebrate our 100th anniversary here, is to burn the mortgage. So if we can continue to do what we're doing, and based off the plans I put together, that 32 becomes 27. And when we're sitting here in a few years, just 6 short years from now, it would be great to burn that mortgage. So give you guys a little bit of a goal, give myself a goal too. Okay, so what can you do? So again, thank you. I think I've said it enough times, but continue to contribute. Those tax advantage dollars are very useful for everything we do around here. It helps us with our cash flow, it helps us with our financing, helps us do things that we couldn't normally do without that tax advantage money. If you have the ability to contribute in a non-deductible, for guys like me, I don't have any deductions left, so it doesn't do me any good to give it a tax advantaged way. So I give directly to the foundation, the Farmhouse Association. So by giving that money directly, then I take whatever I contribute and pay down on the mortgage or pay for projects around the house. Again, no deductions, but it's money that can very quickly go toward paying down the mortgage or paying down other projects. We had this was awesome. One of the graduating students' mother wanted to give something. So she gave money and we bought a couch with it. It was really nice. The couch that was in there was horrible. And so it gave us a chance to really upgrade our furniture. And she gave, out of the goodness of her heart, to get that accomplished. So that's the type of things that we do with the money. Again, adding to scholarship funds. Last year, we gave $54,000 in scholarships. A little more than that, almost $60,000 in scholarships. Again, because you're contributing to those endowed scholarships, we can give out scholarships to worthy men. You received one of the big ones. That really helps with your education. And if you don't know what it costs now to go to school, ask one of the young men what they pay for semester tuition. I remember when my semester tuition was $520. That's not what it is today. Okay. New names. We are always looking for people to volunteer, to be on the board, to be advisors, to just help mentor students. If you know someone who's interested in serving on the board, we don't have any openings now. Unfortunately, everyone on the board wanted to stay on the board. But next year, when it comes time, we need association members to step up and say, hey, I'll serve on the board for 2 or 3, 4 years, whatever your time is. So again, a lot of former board members in here. Probably was as rewarding for you as it was for me. Pass the word. It's a pretty awesome gig if you want to serve as a board member. Okay. So with that, any questions about the money, about what we did last year? Awesome year last year. We had a great time.
What kinds of investments does the foundation have?
That would be an Allison question. I honestly don't know how they do all their finances. I know that they've got all kinds of different things they're doing, but yeah, I don't know. Sorry, that'd be Allison Rickles at the foundation could help out with that. Oh, yeah, okay.
Jim Tobin, I served on the International Foundation Board for quite a while. They use financial counselors. It's a investment group. And about 60% is equity, 40% fixed. And they've done very well. If I could, can I make one more comment? We established a scholarship fund for Owen Newland. Owen was, I think, maybe a 50 initiate, passed away. He had a career with Pioneer for, I don't know, 40 or 50 years, and just a terrific guy. He believed in international travel and study. So we've established an endowment, an endowed scholarship that'll provide money for an Iowa State student to go on an internship. We raised $11,000. Several of you here in the room have contributed, and we appreciate that. If anybody else would like to, we could grow that scholarship if you'd like. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Jim. Great question. Glad we had the expert here. Any other questions? Well, thank you. It's been an honor serving for another year, and hopefully the board elects me to do this again for the future. So, thank you, everyone.
I'll move into the chapter report. Jake Stensel. Oh yeah, there you go. Hi. So yeah, please help me in welcoming Jake Stensel, the current chapter president.
Morning, how's everybody doing? Good, good. I don't have a speech. I've got a list. We've got a lot of things that we've been doing this semester. So I'm going to start just by introducing the exec team for this semester. So I'm serving as the president. If you just want to stand up, if you're here, I want to call your name. Jed Weiss, vice president. His dad is Russ Weiss, initiated in '90. So just to give some of you guys an idea of whose dads some of these guys have. Caleb Almassi, treasurer. Mike Almassi, 85. Ben Vanderleest is our assistant treasurer. Craig Vanderleest, 88. Brian Herron is our alumni director. Brendan Mass, assistant alumni director. Nathan Mass, 94. Brett Schlixa, recruitment chair. Colby Richter, assistant recruitment. Colton Moore, business manager. Jacob McVeigh, assistant business manager. Jared Lucky, new member education. Jacob Robiard, assistant new member education. Nathan Frank, scholarship chair. Colin Johnson, social chair. And Sam Rimpey, secretary. And that's the exec team that I've had the pleasure of working with this semester. We've done some good things this semester. And then one more shout out while we're on kind of elected positions. Noah Connor was just elected to the vice president of IFC Judicial Affairs. So let's give him a round of applause. So those elections were held last week, and then there's one more round of elections to complete that IFC team, but Noah's going to be serving on that. So, moving on, so we've got a new pledge class in. We've got 22 new members, and we're very pleased with them. If you're a new member, please stand up. Yeah, thanks, guys. You guys have been doing good work. Homecoming was very good. You guys' participation levels are great, so we really appreciate that. Now I'm going to hit on a couple things that aren't so good, and then we'll go back to some good things. As you heard from Eugene, we had some issues with our pads, and we had the air conditioner in the wall leaked and got everything wet. And there are some mold issues that we had to take care of. And then that led to some more issues. So like Eugene said, we were down in the basement for about a month, which really isn't as bad as people made it seem. I don't know. It was pretty chilly down there. It was fine. So shout out to Colton Moore and Jacob McVeigh, Jamie, and the A board for getting that taken care of as quick as we can. yeah, we had some problems. We moved back into the pads a couple weeks ago. I guess like the funniest thing of this all was every day almost somebody would ask Colton like, hey, when's this gonna be done? When's this gonna be done? And his answer was always, it'll be done when it's done. we just had no idea because contractors are so hard to come by these days. So one more thing we've been dealing with, we got a fine from the IRS because we did not file our taxes correctly 2 years ago. There's just some problems with the treasurer at the time that just didn't get it done. And so I'd like to shout out Dwayne Vanderkraal. He's an attorney. Not sure what year he was initiated, but he was a farmhouse. 98? 90. So anyway, shout out to him. He got a letter sent to the IRS to try to abate that fine. And shout out to Eugene for giving us an extension on that, and Brad Fantz has been involved in that as well. So thank you to those guys for trying to help us out with that. And we're trying to work closely with Eugene so that things like this don't happen in the future and we don't have to pay ridiculous fines from the IRS. So those are a couple things we've dealt with and how we're kind of trying to deal with them from here on out. Going along to some more positive things. Fourfold development obviously is very important. So just some things spiritually. We've got 3 different campus ministries the guys are involved with here. And there's leaders in every single one of them. I know I'm involved in the Salt Company. I think there's like 15 leaders, the lead connection groups in that. And yeah, so like we're very involved there spiritually. Intellectually, we were first in grades last semester for the 4th out of the last 5 semesters. And we're doing well this semester, right, Nathan? Good stuff. Social, obviously homecoming was the big one this semester. I'm going to hit on a few other things here in a minute. And then physical, we have the Poly K down in the basement. That's our gym, our weight room. I'd like to thank the Artery family. They donated a piece of equipment to us, and that is a very nice addition to the gym down there. And we got some guys lifting big weights, so that's a lot of fun. And then throughout the rest of the semester, we've had Dad's Weekend. Dad's Weekend was a success. Thank you to all the dads that came. We had a really good turnout, and it was a lot of fun. Then next we had Burritoville, so that's our philanthropy, and we support Children's Cancer Connection. We were able to raise $5,500 this year for Children's Cancer Connection. So let's give that a round of applause. That was a lot of fun, and Ryan Heron was kind of the head on that, so thanks, Ryan. Next we had Barn Party. We went to Luke Feeble's house, and so I want to thank the Feeble family. I want to thank Jack Cahill and Luke Feeble for organizing that, putting that all together. It was a great success. I've never seen a more beautiful sunset, and we got to have a really good time out there. So next, moving on, the reason why we're here, homecoming. We're paired with Chi Omega and Acacia this year. It's been a long week. I'm on Homecoming Central, so I've been kind of just all over the place. I've slept at the house, but that's about it. So it's been a lot of fun. To start with Chi Omega, we had an etiquette dinner earlier this semester, and so the association paid for that, so we appreciate that a lot. It was a good success. Their house director just loved it. I sat by her the whole time and escorted her in, and she just thought it was the coolest thing ever. Never seen anything like it. So I think we should keep doing that. And again, we appreciate the generous contributions that allow us to do things like that. So how we did, this is the moment of truth. You saw the trophy out there. We won first place overall. We got. The specifics in tournaments. We placed second in basketball. We placed third in banner. So that was on Central Campus all week. A lot of them fell. Ours did not fall over. So good work, guys. On display, we got second place. Sorry if you weren't here last night, you didn't get to see it, but we had to tear it down before everybody destroyed our blue board, and we don't have enough money to buy a new blue board. So, and then Yell Like Hell, we got second place, and so that's it. So yeah, first place overall. That's what we're shooting for. So the other stuff It doesn't matter as much as long as we get first overall, right? All right, and then, so yeah, homecoming week, the rest of the semester, it's kind of winding down. We're over halfway there and homecoming's over, so there's not a lot left, but we're having a faculty dinner on November 17th. And Wendy Winterstein and her husband are scheduled to come to that, so that's pretty exciting for us. And then one announcement I have, the bricks on the patio. The form has been in Atlantis. The form has been, I don't know where all the form has been all over the place. But if you would like to buy a brick to have engraved and placed on the patio in the back, you can do so. Talk to Brenda Mass or Ryan Herron. And then, yeah, like I said, the form's out there, so you can get that filled out and get that done. That's all I have for my report. Are there any questions? All right, we have one question.
How are you dealing with COVID? What's the situation on that?
So actually, since the pads, our game room was approved last, COVID started, was approved to use as a like COVID area. So we were lucky to be able to have that room to move into with the pad situation. But that room is still set up so that if we did have a COVID outbreak, we can send people down there. We've had a couple cases, not cases of COVID, but people that were pretty sick and went and got tested for COVID. So we put them in our guest room since it was just one person. We put them in the guest room to consolidate them from everybody else. And so that's kind of how we're dealing with things like that, is quarantining them until they get their test results back. So
I'm sorry for being more specific, but last year on the Zoom call, you said 30 people that contracted COVID.
right.
Was that the peak of the problem? Has it gone down considerably?
Yeah, absolutely. We haven't had, I think we've had no cases. One. I think we had one case this semester and they went home instead of staying here. So yeah, we have had, I think quite a few guys are vaccinated, and then obviously we had 30 people had it, so a lot of people have already had it. And so, yeah, we just haven't had as many problems with this semester, unfortunately. Yep.
Thank you.
Yep. Anything else? All right, I have one more thing. So it's Kelly Tobin's 90th birthday. So he's not here today, but he's either on the live stream or we're going to record it. But Josh Markman's going to lead us in saying happy birthday to Kelly Tobin. All right.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Kelly. Happy birthday to you.
Thank you.
And then I think we have Jill Schmidt from Mom's Club. You're saying you were. Welcome, Aunt Jill.
Good morning. It's really a privilege to be here this morning and to share with you that Mom's Club is alive and well and continuing all the wonderful traditions that were started way back in 1965. So, back then there was a group of brilliant women who figured out a way to stay involved in their sons' lives as they left the nest. And since then, there's been over 1,300 moms involved in Mom's Clubs. So it's a great organization. My name is Jill Schmidt, and I have the honor of serving as interim president and also past president for the club this year. And I live in St. Anthony, Minnesota, which is a suburb of the Twin Cities. And I do have to say, it's not easy being a Cyclone and Gopher country, but we try our best up there. I'm a 1993 graduate from Iowa State, which is also where I met my husband Steve, who was a front project back in the day. My son Andy is a senior studying mechanical engineering. He'll graduate this spring. And my daughter Sophie is a freshman, also at Iowa State studying for engineering. So, Men of Farmhouse, you know how much your moms love you. And if there was an award for Mom's Club, I am convinced that Farmhouse would win it hands down. I've discovered over the past 3 years of my involvement that our club is truly the most organized, active, and generous club for Greek moms here at Iowa State. and according to Farmhouse International, of all the farmhouse chapters across the country. So I really don't take it for granted that we have a good thing going here. The objects of Moms Club is threefold. First, to assist the house director, Jamie, in the needs she may request. Second, to encourage fellowship amongst the mothers. And third, to carry out projects for the comfort and convenience for the men in the house. So I like to say we provide the icing on the cake for their experience here. The generosity of the Moms and Moms Club never ceases to amaze me as we fundraise to the tune of $3,000 to $5,000 every year for those extra comforts and conveniences. They're not covered by house dues or the A board. We also provide gifts for new initiates and to celebrate the birthdays of our house director and chef, along with supporting Pledge Son and Dad events. A few years ago, we also began a care fund for active members in the house in the unfortunate event that their mom should pass away during their college career. And through this fund, we're able to purchase memorial gift, flowers for the funeral, and provide assistance with gas costs for the men to attend the funeral and support their brother during that time. So as you look around this amazing house and you see things like the patio furniture, there's a welder, compressors, lots and lots of fitness equipment for the very fit men. Here, Bible study materials, Coliseum furniture, a new salad bar, and countless replacement washers and dryers. It's a signature of Moms Club. We just can't let go of that role of making sure the laundry gets done. Moms Club Fellowship and Community happens all throughout the year through regular correspondence and also through in-person gatherings at our Moms Weekend, Move-In Day, and even on our summer cleaning day, where this past July we had a record number of 22 moms, 7 new member moms, come clean the house. And yes, we love our sons so much that we're even moved to do more cleaning for them after they leave home. Our self-sacrificing moms really want to bless the house and the men who live here in the house each year. So today, if you see them, please thank Megan Wolf, Sarah Markman, Brenda Wise, Phyllis Feeble for their leadership as officers, and know we are just so humbled and grateful to have the opportunity to serve Farmhouse Moms Club here. So thank you.
Okay, we'll go and move on with, I guess, new business in terms of the approval of the 2020-2021 Association Board transactions. And this would include Eugene's proposed budget. So I would entertain a motion for approval of that.
Second.
So moved. Yeah, second.
Second.
Okay, second from Maynard. Any discussion or any questions on Eugene's proposed budget for this next year? Questions? And I think especially with the issues that we have with the pads, I think the board's cognizant of there's things that need to get renovated. Things like there's definitely a chunk of the house that wasn't touched during the expansion that we need to continue to look for areas of things that might break down and contributing money to just the overall wellness of the house. So, seeing none, I'll call the vote to call for a vote. Any objection to moving to a vote? Okay. Seeing none, all those in favor of approving the association board's transactions for 2020 and 2021, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, motion passes. Any other new business? Like I said, Ryan Zinasek and myself, our terms are expired, but we're rolling over into a second term. Please let us know if anybody wants to run for the board in the future. Always need a good list of local alumni to work from on that.
Who's on the board?
Yeah, who's on the board?
Yeah.
That's part of my report. No, that's all good. So yeah, the board consists of 6 members. We got Kurt Rosentrader, and if you're present, please go ahead and stand up. Kurt Rosentrader, he's a 1990 initiate. Ken Ashley, 86. We got Maynard Hobart, 64. Ryan Zinasek, 2005. Dan Johnson, 99. and then myself, 2010 initiate. And then we got Eugene Rodberg as our board treasurer. And Eugene makes our job very easy. You know, it's kind of with any new expense, we just kind of turn to Eugene and say, "Can we pay for it?" So give thumbs up, thumbs down. Yeah. Other than that, I appreciate you guys' gifts. I think Founders Day is the most fun event in terms of being able to give the scholarships we're able to give. As a board, we approve those scholarships, those selections, and you know, to bless the chapter with $60,000 worth of scholarships is incredible. If you see Linda Lloyd, thank her dearly. She's a huge contributor to that. I saw she gave a great contribution to College of Vet Med, so she was there last night, so we got to see her there. In terms of what we've done for the chapter from kind of personal development, professional development, we were able to fund an etiquette dinner. We also did a strength finders seminar last spring to help you guys with that. And then the kitchen. Yeah, if you take a look at the kitchen, the main thing would be we changed out all the cabinetry and the countertops, better lighting. It's just an overall better situation for our chef to be able to work in there. One thing I do want to mention, there was a scholarship awarded to, I believe, a freshman. It's the Cal's Farmhouse Scholarship. This is by the generosity of Paul Castle, alumni with the chapter. But yeah, Steve Lonergan wanted me to mention that Ben Hollis, Farmhouse freshman, I believe. Ben, yeah, if you'd like to stand up. That's just one of the scholarships that's awarded in the fall semester, so I wanted to make sure to mention that. Lastly, I wanted to thank Jamie Hewitt, our house director. Jamie, where are you at? Yeah, maybe go and open the door. I'll share a little bit about Jamie first. Jamie's been with us for
everybody works to support this.
Yeah.
So we had 5 Moms Club people come and help. And of course, all the men, after the celebration of winning homecoming, this one, the place was a disaster. We all worked together and to make it spotless. So.
Please stop by, say a huge thank you to Jamie. She does a great job. She's kind of like the eyes and ears for the board to give us the blunt, honest truth about how the facility's doing. She points out things that we would never see, and she was basically the project director on the kitchen remodel and getting quotes. Working with vendors, all the timing and stuff. So she did a great job with that. And yeah, this is kind of her retirement job, I guess. Good for her. Before this, I believe she was a kindergarten teacher or something like that. So in some ways, she's still working with the same. But she's doing a great job. Appreciate Jamie there. Other than that, I think that's about all I have. I just want to thank the association for your generosity, whether it's just showing up to events like this, meeting with current chapter members for I had an alumni talk with one of the new members. Those are good opportunities just to connect to the guys, to tell them what Farmhouse means to you, and apparently it still means a whole lot to you to be able to show up to these homecoming events and Founders Day and everything like that. It's a pleasure to get to work with the rest of the association board and and we're very privileged to be in this spot that we are. Lastly, in my report, I kind of finished with a portion of the object. I think we are chartered to always promote good fellowship, and I encourage our chapter members to always keep that in mind. That with any activity that you do, always seek good fellowship, and as long as you keep that as the sole focus, I think we can keep this chapter unified. We can keep this chapter going to we're almost coming up on 100 years being a well-established fraternity on this campus. So thank you very much. It's a miracle that we're still here. I mean, back out of your college experience, it's a miracle, and I thank God for and thank every member for keeping this very, very strong and keeping it going. So thank you guys very much. With that, I'd entertain a motion to, well, actually first, any announcements for the Greater Good Association? Any questions? Okay. Seeing none, I entertain a motion to adjourn. Okay. We have a motion, a second. Second. Okay, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign? Okay, awesome. That sounds good. Let's go watch football.
I'm changing, yeah.